Hello and welcome to Boardscape. I'm Aaron and today we are going to be going over Stellaris: The Infinite Legacy. So, this game has been doing marvelously well. First day, less than 24 hours and it's reached $1.2 million, 7,000 backers 24 days ago. This is a game people have been waiting for. They've been clamoring for. They have been setting aside money for. Stellaris: The Infinite Legacy Edition. Now, before we get into this, if you find this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, go ahead and go below and hit the like button. And if you want to learn more about Kickstarters and all the new games, go ahead and subscribe so that you can get all of the information. So, first thing I want to say about Stellaris, this is going to be based on the video game, right? So Stellaris has been a PC game for a number of years. It has a ton of expansions and things that you can add to it, and is extremely popular in the 4X PC space realm. I've put 20 hours into it. It's not really my jam, so I sort of dropped it, but this board game looks way better than the PC game to me. I mean, I like board games more anyways, but that's besides the point. One thing of note here is going to be that the Early Bird Deluxe Edition is going on. If you are watching this video at the beginning of the campaign, then go ahead and sign up for that Early Bird. Now, I know that's not for everybody, but one thing I want to say is Early Birds have been around forever, right? And the way to deal with them on Kickstarter is to sign up for them early and then decide whether or not you want the game. Because you're going to hate yourself if you decide that you want to go all in later and you're paying the same price for less stuff. So, if you're watching this in the first 2-3 days of Stellaris going on Kickstarter, go ahead and back at the $170 early bird level, then decide whether or not you actually want the game over the next 24 days as it continues, and you see what Kickstarters happen and you learn a little bit more about what's going on. But it's going to be the same price down below. Let's go ahead and go over the pledge levels real fast. We'll see them again later, but the Early Bird Deluxe Edition is going to be $170 and lasts just a couple days. 4 days to go. So as of the first day, so this is what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You have until Monday to sign up for the Early Bird Pledge. Once this campaign reaches 20 days, then that's off the table as far as I understand. You're going to pay the same price for less content if you sign up after these first 4 days. So go ahead and do it. And there's 149 backers that don't know what's going on here at this deluxe edition. If you're one of those, change your pledge, man. If you want the standard edition, it's going to be $110. It does not come with any Kickstarter exclusives. It does not come with any expansions. And it does not come with any stretch goals. If you want the stretch goals, you have to pledge at the $170 level. Early bird or not early bird does not matter. We'll look below and see what you get with the Early Bird Special. But if you're watching this in the first 4 days, sign up now and decide later. Don't miss out. So, Stellaris. What is Stellaris? It's going to be an Infinite Legacy game, which is a fun mixture of two words, infinite and legacy, right? A lot of times we think of legacy games as sort of campaign-based, and as you play through them, the game progresses, you change it. I mean, I'm looking at Pandemic Legacy, right? As you play through that, or even Gloomhaven, you're ripping up cards, you're putting stickers on the board. The Legacy campaign is really meant to be a one-time playthrough. That is not the case with Stellaris. The infinite part means that it is infinitely a legacy game. That every time you play, it's going to be impacting what you do in future games. So that's fun. That's crazy. It's what what's their name? Academy Games is trying to do with this new Infinite Legacy system, and Stellaris is going to be the first of those. So you can expect two things. One, you can expect Stellaris to be different than other Legacy games. And two, you can expect future games from Academy Games that are introducing this infinite legacy system to learn and adapt from what they find out works in Stellaris. So this is going to be a 4X infinite legacy game where every game is changing what you're doing, and people love 4X space games. I mean, I'm looking at Twilight Imperium, right? Everybody and their mom is going to be comparing Stellaris to Twilight Imperium, whether that's 3 or 4 is mute. The fact is, that is what this is most going to be like, right? I'm not going to do that comparison. I've not played Twilight Imperium. I want to, but just have not had the time, nor knew anybody that owned the game. So this is strictly going to be a look at Stellaris itself. So what's the first thing you're going to do? The first thing you're going to do is customize your empire, which is going to look like just how it does in the PC game according to this. You're going to pick any species you want, and it's going to have traits, ethics, and civics, the things that differentiate it from all the other species. As you customize it, you're going to pick one of 12 portraits, one of, I think, 8 flags, and a planet card, all to help realize who your species is and where they came from. Now, one thing of note is going to be that as you pick these traits, ethics, and civics, you're going to have a certain amount of points. And if you pick some things that are really good for you, then you're going to have to take some negative benefits along with it. So, say, this is just a basic example. Say you have something that gives you +2 Corvette movement. Well, it might give your Corvettes... You might have the options of taking -1 Corvette maneuvers or -1 Corvette attacks. I don't know, I'm making this crap up, right? But what I'm saying is the way that you customize your empire is going to be different every time, because as you take those good cards, you're going to have to take negative cards along with it, which, if you've played the computer game, is pretty much the exact same. One thing of note here is that the traits and civics are included here are only those from the base game version of Stellaris in the PC, the base game PC game. So if you have the expansions on the PC, then don't expect to be able to see those here. So you're going to customize your empire, make it completely your own, love it, hate it, whatever it ends up being, it's yours. On top of that, they're going to have a variable tech trees where you can unlock dozens of mechanics and research and do all sorts of things, picking your own path as you progress through the game, choosing which path is going to be the best for this civilization. Is this going to be an arms-heavy civilization, or are we going to lean towards defense or science and technology? Maybe we'll lean towards biomaterial. Like, there's so much that can be done with tech trees. I am interested in learning more about this section. They don't give a ton of information, but hopefully some of the videos that come out over the next 24 days will. One of the big draws, one of the things drawing people to this game is going to be the 2-hour time limit. Now, obviously not time limit as in that's an estimation, but the fact that these are 2-hour games. So if you play Twilight Imperium, right, that's going to take a minimum 8 hours to play. So we'll just go with that base right there. 8 hours of play, all at once. What this game, what Stellaris aims to do, is take that down to, okay, we have 8 hours. We're going to break that into 4 different sections, 4 different 2-hour sessions. And each of those 2-hour sessions is going to have an endpoint, so that people can jump in or change or start a new civilization or whatever else. We'll take a look at that in a minute. But that 2-hour session, you're getting the same game length that you are in a game like Twilight Imperium, just broken it into sections. Now, As you go, this is obviously a 4X game, which is explore, expand, exploit, and exterminate. They have changed one of those 4 into exopolitics instead of exterminate because they don't want the game to just sort of be a whoever can kill all the others first wins type of game. That's not the point of this game. The point is exploration and expanding and just sort of influencing others. Sure, there will be combat, but that falls into the exopolitics. So, all of these boards are going to, we'll look at these a little more in depth later, but play into this 2-hour time period. Now, this is going to be one of the cool things, the accessibility where people can jump in and jump out of these campaigns. They give 3 examples here, right? So they give the veteran, the new player, and player 3. Maybe player 3 has played a couple times, they know what they're doing, but aren't hardcore, right? So 2 hours later, the veteran player is still playing the same race. They're loving what they're doing, they're sticking with it, and expanding farther than anybody else. The new player decides, okay, now I know what's going on and I want to start a new empire. And so this game allows them to do so. And one of the cool things to note is going to be that if you retire a civilization, as this player here is, and start a new one, then that old civilization will have some ramifications later in the game. They can pop back up. As I said, it's just like Gloomhaven, as far as I understand, where as you retire characters, they still have the ability to come up later. And so it sort of brings a whole new realm to this game where if I play my copy and then go to your house and play your copy, the races and things popping up are going to be completely different than my copy. Player 3 decides that 2 hours is long enough for them and they leave. But player 4 comes over and says, I'm interested in this. I want to play it. I want to learn it. And they're able to easily join, right? So, really, this is a jump in, jump out kind of game, which is interesting for a space-themed 4X game. And I believe makes it fun because one of the main mechanics is going to be the end round or the end game mechanic where the veteran player here, who has been playing the same civilization for a long time, is trying to complete more than the other players. These 2 new empires are sort of starting a little less, have to accomplish less. You can look at it like this. You have a new civilization, maybe Earth finds new life out in the solar system. We're focused on a small amount of things, such as defense and politics and learning how to live in this vast universe with other people, or creatures, or whatever. And so we have a small list of things to accomplish. But the veteran, the civilization that has been around for millennia, out there conquering planets and politicking and doing everything they possibly can to expand their empire, is going to have a lot more to focus on than the small person. That's sort of what this game is going to be playing off of. And why it is going to be a jump in, jump out, and how it sort of streamlines and allows the veteran and the new empire to coexist. Now, obviously, there's going to be immersive storytelling. It says that I've read 200, I've heard 500. There is, whatever the case, a crap ton of different events that can happen in this game, meaning that it is possible to play this game over and over and over again and never encounter the same cards, which does have some immersive storytelling along with it. The organization in this game looks beyond belief, right? So what we can see here is going to be 2 things. One, you're going to have this little tray here, these plastic trays that allow you to store all of your different pieces. And then you're going to have this top part that sort of folds on top of it, making easy storage. You can quickly just grab your player thing, your player tray, flip it up, and have all your pieces right there. No baggies, no pulling a ton of little miniatures out. It's all right there in front of you. On top of that is going to be these little card slots. Now, what's going on here is that you, throughout the game, will be getting different event cards, and you will be slotting some of these event cards into these locations. And that is going to impact what happens later. For example, possibly, this is made up, but possibly you have a card that says you encounter a new civilization, let's say the chickens. So you slot that in, and it might have a little thing at the top that says new civilization, chickens. Later in the game, you might encounter a new planet, and it says whatever civilization you last contacted is going to be on this planet. So you look at your board up here and see, okay, the last one that I encountered was the chickens. Meaning the chickens are on this planet, and it adds this whole narrative element of, wow, they got there before me. I wonder what's going on. Maybe they've started advancing farther than I expected them to. This system seems genius. And of course, that was a made-up scenario, but that's, as far as I understand, what to expect from these sorts of things. And it looks like it might just work. Obviously, there's going to be epic gameplay. It's a game of epic scales, right? So, if you want to know a little bit more about what's going on here, you can check out the Thoughts from the Corner video here. They don't have a lot of videos here yet, and are planning to add more over the next 24 days as the campaign progresses. But this one does cover quite a bit about what's going on in the game. Be sure to check it out if you're interested. They have some live streams coming up. They will even have gameplay later down the road. The first live stream is scheduled for Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to check it out and learn a little bit more about what's going on here. Now, we've already talked about the pledge levels at the beginning, but let's go ahead and run over them again. The standard edition is going to be The standard edition is going to be $110 and includes just the base game with the 4 different factions and all the cards and all the stuff that comes with it. If you are willing to splurge a bit, then for $170, $60 more, you can get the Early Bird Deluxe Edition that comes with the 5 and 6 player expansion. If you have a group that loves 4X games, then that might just be worth it. And a box, the Empire's expansion, Frontiers, I don't remember which is which, but one of these 2 boxes, the 5 and 6 player expansion, the other is going to be the Stretch Goals expansion, a box to hold all the stretch goals that come in this game. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but just so you remember, if you buy this $110 standard edition, you do not get any of the stretch goals. You only get stretch goals at the $170 level. If you sign up for the early bird, then the 2 things that you get are the Stellaris Steam code. Not a huge deal. You can easily get that for just a couple bucks online. But the thing that people are interested in is this Stellar Devourer miniature. Usually this will be a token, but if you sign up for the early bird, you get the miniature, which I believe comes in the Empire's expansion, or Frontiers, or whatever. One of them. As you can see, the Deluxe Edition does not have these 2 items, but has the same price. Again, sign up for the early bird, decide later if you actually want the game or not. Optional buys. You for $8, you can buy the Time Master Dreadnought. If you sign up It might be too late by the time you see this. If you're watching this within the first day of it coming out, then you might be on time. But if you sign up for the Academy Games newsletter and back at all within the first 48 hours, then you can get this for free. Otherwise, it'll be $8. And again, not a game-breaking thing, but just replacing a token that comes with the base game with a miniature. So it is what it is. If you don't sign up for the newsletter, it'll cost you $8 to get it. If you don't sign up for the early bird, it'll cost you $8 to get the Stellar Devourer Broadmother as well. So, what all do you get in this game, right? We talk a lot about it. What all's in it? Well, first of all, you're going to get a crap ton of little miniature spaceships of different sizes and different kinds, along with the 4 varying factions that come in the base game. You're going to get population clips and player markers, everything you would expect in a game like this. Starbase tiles, 680 cards, including technologies, traditions, and extensions. All the things you need to play, with a great amount of variety. 4-player resource boards, and card dividers, multi-layer player screens. Again, all the individual things that you need to play the game, including these phase boards. And I want to just focus on this for a second. I know this might be a little hard to see, but every round you are going to be picking one of these 4 things secretly: exopolitics, expand, explore, or exploit. Which of these 4 avenues of the 4X genre do you want to explore this round? And after you pick that one, say you pick exploit, this top one, you're going to have these little player markers that allow you, there are over a dozen different options on this board. These player markers will allow you to pick and choose some of these. So the options, it looks like there's over, if there's 12 on this times 4, that's what, 48 different options to pick from? Somewhere along those lines. And you gotta pick the right section, the right 4X, and then be able to do what you need to do for your plan. So that whole aspect is interesting and fun. On top of that, you're going to have ethics, authorities, origins, trade civics, flags, again, everything needed to start a civilization, and all sorts of cards to pick from. You're going to have 6 different planet landscapes: dry, frozen, wet, 2 of each. 12 portrait cards, which I mentioned earlier. One thing to note about the Galaxy system is going to be that it is a puzzle system. You're each going to start with your own little area and a center, a galaxy center in the middle of you. And as you play, you might end up connecting to that center, which will open up all sorts of avenues on which directions you can go. But as you can see here, these little tiles have puzzle piece connectors, allowing them to be connected without sort of floating around, and if you bump one, you're not just destroying the whole thing, just sort of like you would a puzzle, and I like that. Leaders, resources, all the things needed to play. On top of that, if you get the Empires expansion with the $170 level, you will get the 5th and 6th players, which add 2 colors, the purple and the gray, and give you everything needed to play those colors, and additional tradition cards, ascension cards, technology cards, all sorts of additional things that sort of up what is possible to explore in the base game. On top of that, the Frontiers expansion, as we said, is going to be will include all unlocked stretch goals. This is the stretch goals box. As we go down here, we can see the stretch goals that we've gotten. We've unlocked the game. We've unlocked some different tokens and cards. all sorts of cards that change up the tech trees and different techs that you can expand, including like robots and star-based miniatures. There's a lot here. I am interested in the fact that they start... It doesn't seem like there's going to be a ton of miniatures, or not miniatures, a ton of stretch goals. 55,000 to 60, that's a $5,000 increase. No biggie, right? $5,000 increase. They go from 65,000 to 500,000. Now, obviously, they broke that in one day. When you go from $5,000, $5,000, $5,000 to $500,000, that is such a significant jump that I just don't understand what the heck just happened. On top of that, then it's a $300 jump, and then it's a $200,000, $100,000. It's almost like they were winging it, and they have a set amount of stretch goals, and they're unlocking 5,000 at a time, and realize, holy crap, everybody's buying this game. We have to up this so much right now, and we've still unlocked quite a bit more. Now, obviously, we've not gotten the arc emitters yet, but I fully expect that and more. I see this game breaking 2 million, possibly 2.5. We'll see at the end what all we get. Shipping for the standard to the US is going to be friggin' for the continental US, 20 to 30. The deluxe edition is about 25 to 35, so it's pretty normal. Yeah, if you like 4X games, then you should back this game. That's going to be the first reason to back this game, if you like 4X games, because this is a 4X game at its heart. Maybe you like Stellaris, the PC game, or other 4X games like Twilight Imperium, and are looking for a little variety. Stellaris is going to be that game for you. On top of that, if you are interested in this infinite legacy idea, then you should go ahead and back this game so that you can give some feedback and sort of get a feel for what Academy Games is going for here with this infinite legacy system. Maybe you just like legacy and games in general. Again, this is going to be a game for you, and I would go ahead and back it. Maybe you have a group of 5 or 6 players who love space theme games, or a whole group where players are constantly going in and out, then you should go ahead and back this game because of the way that this is accessible. The fact that people can leave and join all the time. Maybe you don't like the way that your system is going, you can restart it and start a new civilization. The person who's been sticking with it can continue theirs throughout the whole time. That's all of this. Now, one reason not to back this is going to be this early bird pledge. There are a lot of people who just despise early birds in general, because maybe you get to a campaign a couple days late, you feel like you missed out on something, and in reality you do. You miss out here on a $2 PC game and an $8 miniature. Meaning if you want to pick up those things in addition to this game, it's at the regular deluxe price. It would basically cost you $180 instead of $170. Not a huge difference. I understand why people go with early bird pledges. Not a fan, but it is what it is. What the hell just happened? Let's see here. So yeah, that is Stellaris Infinite Legacy. If that sounds like a game for you, go ahead and leave a comment below letting me know what you are excited for here. What is it about this game that makes you want to back it? Is it the 2-hour time limit? Not time limit, the 2-hour gameplay? Is it the idea of this Infinite Legacy system? Is it that you don't have any space games? I don't have any space games. This is going to be my first one. I don't have any 4X games, so I'm excited to be able to add this to my collection one day. What is it about this game that gets you excited and helps you push us over $1.2 million in one day? Let me know in the comments below. Again, while you're down there, if you found value in this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the like button so that you can get continued value when it comes to Kickstarter games. So, yeah, thank you for joining me here at Boardscape. I hope you have a good night, and as always, game on.